What brings you out here?
Sorry?
What brings you out here?
Fear
Fear?
and horror at the state of our so-called democracy and terror at the impunity of the government and the fact that they show zero intention of following the rule of law, which is all that we as the citizenry have to protect us from them and their worst extremes.
What happens if Julian Assange is extradited?
If Julian Assange is extradited, aside from his personal death, which will impact not just him, but his wife, children and extended family, the rest of us will be impacted because it will mean that the American government can legally extradite anyone from anywhere who says anything that they don't like. And it makes every single journalist vulnerable to American chagrin should they choose to expose American actions that Americans don't want exposed.
What happens if Julian Assange is extradited?
Well, he faces 175 years in probably in a prison like Guantanamo Bay, where the worst of the criminals are. But the whole problem is they won't extradite him. They'll keep him here until he dies, because that's the UK, the USA agenda, and because of that, they'll continue to keep Julian Assange until he no longer can live a life out of prison. So this is their plan, to kill Julian Assange, and it's plain and simple. This is a political war in people journalists, innocent journalists, who reveal the truth about the war criminals and the warmongers. And it is quite obvious that these wars are continuing in the invasion now in Ukraine by the war criminals. And it's a planned mission that not only innocent journalists face, but the community as a whole, because while we have journalism, we have freedom of speech and freedom of democracy and freedom of expression, and once we lose that, we are no longer citizens of the world, and we'll be all in prison very soon for speaking our mind. And this government continues
so
to lock away.
This is more than about Julian Assange. This is about
Julian Assange. Yes, the main factor is that Julian Assange has been a great inspiration to the freedom of speech and freedom of democracy, and they don't want that. The governments, NATO, CIA, MI506, they're all involved in these war crimes, and they're the ones that should be put in jail, not Julian Assange. Julian Assange is an innocent man. He has not committed any crimes against humanity. It's the war criminals that have got blood on their hands.
It's the freedom of the journalists that's on the line. It's all up to us to come together and do something about this, because we have the right to be informed. He has the right to inform us. All he did is tell the truth about the war crimes that happened in the East. So I urge everybody to look up the Iraq files. Palestine supporters should look up the Gaza files, the Yemen files, Afghanistan. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, Assange did his work, did his job, very much in the actual sense of the meaning of journalism. He gave out all the details. He gave all the details.
So what happens if Julian Assange is extradited?
If Julian Assange is extradited, that's basically over. So anyone who's basically bothered about what goes on around them, want to know what's going on in the world, and are we part of it or are we not? We can't be alienated from information. We need information because we need to know what's right right and what's wrong, and obviously that will help us take a lead that can at least put us on the right side of the history, and not on the wrong track. The track of apathy, alienation, not caring, despising, caring for other countries, despising other people because of censorship, demonising, villainising the wrong people and us doing anything about it. That's not an act of love at all. So if you still believe in journalism, you still believe in truth, you have to support Julian Assange.
Yes, thank you.
An attack on Julian Assange is an attack on all of us.
What brings you out here?
I have to start by saying this, I'm not an activist. Something happened many years ago and I watched Julian Assange come through on something to do with an ecological disaster in Africa. And from that moment, I've been following him and I thought, he's going to be out next week. But the more I followed him, the deeper I got into wanting to support him. Because I'm confused by the fact the whole world isn't behind this guy. I'm just confused.
Yeah.
So I'm here to support him. I come out and I hope to do a little bit to educate local people about what's happening with him.
Would you consider yourself an activist today now? Or still?
I still don't consider myself an activist.
Okay.
I still don't, because after Julian, I don't believe I'll get involved in anything like this again.
So why is Julian Assange's freedom important to you?
Because I'm watching a man who's revealed the truth to the world, not lies, and he hasn't committed any crimes, and he's being persecuted like, I can't even describe it. This is crazy. It does not make sense. It does not compute with me. So for that reason, I'm behind Julian 100%. And I won't be happy till he's free. If Julian Assange is extradited, we no longer have freedom in this country. This will be classed as an authoritarian country, and this country's image will be damaged around the world. No longer can they point at Iran and anybody else and say, you're this, you're that. No, their image, their brand, they like to say their brand, will be destroyed. And there'll just be another tin pot, whatever you want to call it. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I've said it before, I just can't believe that the man that exposed the crime is the one doing the time. I think Julian Assange is a canary in the cage. It's the most important case of our time. I'm not here just to fight for his freedom. The case is so fundamental to the times we live in that the Assange case that we fight for is a fight for all our freedom. It's that important.
And what happens if Julian Assange is extradited?
Yeah, we're totally screwed. It's awful. Not only did Julian expose the war crimes of America and Britain, but he's actually exposed the sham that is Western liberal democracy. He's exposed the fact that our politics is corrupt, that we have no functioning judiciary, there is no free press, and that it is a form of totalitarian fascism, in my opinion.
Do you think that he will be extradited?
I think, it's interesting. I've been speaking to people here and they think that I think the process is the punishment. I think he'll...
So what do you mean when you say the process is the punishment?
They're aware that the Assange team can appeal, but the whole process takes so long. He's already been in Belmarsh for how many years now? 2 years since his case. He won his case, and the whole appeal thing is so slow that it's just shocking that he's in solitary during all that time. So I think Priti Patel will want him extradited. We'll then go to appeals, and then I don't know, another couple of years with him in prison, not being able to see his family. I mean, it's absolutely shocking, and more people need to know about it.
And one last question: what do we have here? What is this drawing?
Yeah, this is a drawing I did of Assange a few years ago. And it's just my way as an artist to show my full support for him. And I've promised the original drawing to him and his family, and I hope to hand it over to him one day.